Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show, The Night Sky This Week. I'm your host, Andrew Fazekas, the Night Sky Guy, for July 22nd, 2024. So wonderful that you can join me again this week. We're here every week talking about what we can see in the night sky. I curate a few things that are really neat in the night sky, easy to see. Maybe you just need your eyes, maybe binoculars, a few things with telescopes thrown in as well. So, hopefully, something for everyone. And whether you're out in the countryside on a fishing trip, maybe you're camping somewhere in a country cottage, or maybe you're in a downtown high rise in an apartment building, there are always things that you can see in the sky, and it's a free show. So, how better than that? Hey, if you find value in this video, please make sure to do so that good stuff socially. Share this video with your friends and family, with your network. Please give it a thumbs up. And also, if you haven't yet, do subscribe. What are you waiting for? You get a chance not to miss any of the videos or posts that I put up every week, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook, or Twitter, Twitch. Love to see all my stargazing friends. And by the way, share where you're watching from. I'd love to hear and see in the comments section. I see Linda's joining us from Texas. Thank you for stopping by and spending a few minutes out of your day with me. So why don't we jump right in to the planetarium program and see what the night sky has in store this week? So here we go. Um, this is the sky set up for just after sunset tonight, as the broadcast is happening on July 22nd, Monday. This is what you would see. And what you'll notice is a very, very bright planet, Venus, pinning down the very low southwest, northwest part of the sky. Now, Venus is the brightest planet generally, but this is something that sometimes can be tricky because it hangs around the sun. Of course, Venus being the second planet away from the sun, it is closer than the Earth. Its path, circular path, orbit is always appears close. The planet does from our vantage point. But if we kind of view what the sky will look like over the coming days, weeks, you'll notice that Venus is going to be heading up. Now, before I set that into motion, look to the upper left of Venus, and you'll see, of course, Regulus, a star. That's the lead star in the constellation Leo the Lion, a very traditional springtime constellation in the northern hemisphere and a fall constellation for those of you in the south. And then there's Mercury, another challenging planet, actually, because that's the innermost planet, too, the closest to the sun, right? So watch this. You have Regulus, you have Mercury, and Venus. Now, watch as I push this over the next few days, you'll see Mercury and Regulus heading closer and closer to Venus. And by the end of the month, see, like July 31st and then August the 1st, they're huddling together, these three objects, of course, very close to the sun, making it a challenge for observing. It's not impossible, but something really, I think, is a neat observing chance. So you can mark your calendar down for like the end of the month to really get to see this great huddling of these celestial objects in the west. Again, this is something that is you can do with the naked eye, but if you have binoculars, it definitely makes it much more friendly. So let's put the planetarium program back to today, 22nd. You can see how everything is kind of spacing out right now, and then kind of huddling together, just converging over the next week. By the way, I'm using software Sky Safari from my friends at Simulation Curriculum. A big shout out for them. Great software. I loved using Sky Safari. So here we can see this. If we move over to the southwest sky, what are you going to be noticing? Some stars. And again, this is for the naked eye. This is something that you'll be able to see even in city limits. That's what I'm kind of showing you, giving you an idea of what those dots in the sky are. So the one closer to the horizon, halfway up, maybe up the sky, a little, or a third, I should say, Spica. That's the lead star in the constellation of Virgo, the maiden. Here, I'll just make it so the sky is darker. So a little bit later. Here's about 9:40. I'm just going to put this even later by 10 o'clock. an even 10 p.m. You can see there's Spica. Higher up is Arcturus. But now, if I go earlier in the evening where it hasn't quite gotten dark, you notice that there's a lot fewer stars. But the stars that do shine first, that kind of pop into the sky first, are the brightest stars. And those usually mark the brightest or lead stars in individual constellations. So Spica is in Virgo. You can see just a hint of Virgo right there, the maiden mythological constellation. Then above it is Arcturus. Arcturus is this yellow orangey star. Really interesting is Arcturus is about 37 light years away, while Spica is a whopping 250 light years away. So you're looking back in time that many years. When we're talking about light years, that's how many years light is traveling through space. So it's a time travel thing that you're actually doing by looking at these stars. It's really amazing. So that's what you'll see. And then looking towards the southern sky, early, again, just after about half hour after sunset, 45 minutes as the sky is darkening, you'll see Antares, another orange star, more orange than Arcturus up here is, but Antares is 550 light years away. It's a red giant star. It's near the end of its life, and it points to the eye of Scorpion, the Scorpio. So you can see here Scorpius constellation, another zodiacal constellation, low down in the southern sky. We talked about this last week. The moon was traveling through and next to Antares, has moved off now, but Scorpius is still there, and it's great because it kind of marks where the hub of the Milky Way is in the background. So if you have dark enough skies and you look towards the south late in the evening, check it out. You'll notice that if you have a good view of the low toward the horizon, that's the hub of the Milky Way, right? It's really impressive. Let me see if I can get an image so you can see in orbit. So this is going to show us where Antares is, or Alpha Scorpius is in the constellation, in the Milky Way. So you see the Milky Way from above here on the left, and the Milky Way on its side here, the side view. And that's kind of, remember, we are embedded, right? We're right here. You can see that dot. And Antares looks very close, only 550 light years away. Because if you look at this scale here, from left to right, our galaxy is about 110,000 light years across. And so 500 light years is just a little blip there. But the hub is there. And so when we're looking, and we're embedded here in one of the arms, right here on the outer arms, we look towards the hub, remember, towards Antares, which is a little bit closer to the, towards, in front of the core of the Milky Way. That's that glow that you're seeing on the southern horizon. It's a glow from the center of our galaxy. This is about 28,000 light years away. Can you imagine that? Glow is from millions of stars huddled together. You can't see the individual stars because they're too far away, but you see the combined light as if it was a cloud. It's a cloud of stars. That's what the glow that you're seeing on the horizon. So you can see the Milky Way band here as it stretches across. This is the arm of the Milky Way. This is the rest of the Milky Way band that you see in the sky. We're looking towards Antares. It's this arm here, and in the background you see that hub. So if we go back to the sky, there's the hub. Let me zoom out. There's the hub. You can see right there. And there's the arm of one of the arms of the Milky Way just spinning up. And that's the center of the galaxy, way 28,000 light years away. Isn't that incredible? I think that's like the super most amazing thing. So lots of all these little things that are marked are all what are called deep sky objects. There's star clusters, a lot of nebula, gas clouds that you can see. There's all kinds of really, really neat things that are visible through a small telescope, and that's what this is showing on the planetarium program. Even binoculars, you can see a lot of these clusters. They're a lot of fun. So if we move a little bit later at night, this is again like at 10, we'll go 11, look towards the southeast. Look who's popping up. It's the moon. So as of Monday night, July 22nd, you'll see it in the kind of just at the back end of Capricornus, the sea goat zodiacal constellation. That's where the waning gibbous moon is. Remember, we had the July's full moon, the thunder moon, on Saturday, this past Saturday. It was absolutely gorgeous. I was actually driving yesterday, Sunday night, and it was still looking almost near full, rising, an hour and a half after sunset. Absolutely gorgeous. If you have clear skies tonight, highly recommend it. So you would go out probably around 11 o'clock and you'll see that beautiful moonrise wherever you are around the world. Highly suggest that. I can see folks from different places. There's Briven from Zambia, nice, and Parth is also here from WB. Very interesting. Where's WB? Maybe you can yeah, expound on what WB is. I'm not familiar with that. Who else do we have? We have Gina from Connecticut as well. We have Lynn from California. So wonderful. Thank you very much for joining. And Jack from Santa Monica, California. So incredible. Yes, full moon last night. Absolutely gorgeous. And so if you haven't seen it yet, or you missed the full moon, that's okay. It's still absolutely gorgeous to go out and see it. And the moon is, like I said, in the back end of Capricornus. But take a look. Here's something interesting. A little challenge for those of you with telescopes and binoculars. There is a globular cluster, a circular round ball of hundreds of thousands of stars all compacted together, and this one is there's a few hundred scattered up across like a halo around the Milky Way, and one of them is the moon is passing by tonight. So again, this is M30, Messier 30. Very neat globular cluster. You can see here, it's about 26,000 light years away. And this was first discovered by the French astronomer Charles Messier back in 1764. And imagine 26,000 light years away. You're looking back in time, 26,000 years. That's the snapshot that we have. That's the view of what the cluster looks like to us now. We're looking what it looked like 26,000 years ago. What does it look like now? Probably the same way, because globular clusters are kind of the most ancient artifacts, stellar artifacts in the universe. They're great archaeological sites for the chemistry of what the universe used to look like. What old stars? A lot of these stars are very old, many billions of years old. And like I said, globular clusters are not inside the Milky Way itself, but as a halo that are scattered around like jewels in a crown. Just absolutely gorgeous. Again, 26,000 light years away, M30. It's a visual magnitude of 7.2. So this is something within the realm of a strong pair of binoculars or a small backyard telescope. If you have a small backyard telescope, you can use the moon as a guidepost for finding it. Now, of course, because of the glare of the moon, you're not going to get the best views at all tonight, but the moon will move away from this point of the sky. Like here, if I just show you, by Tuesday, the moon will have moved off. And as it gets farther away from M30, you'll get a better and better view of this globular cluster. There's no doubt about that. So check that out. M30 is a great, beautiful globular cluster of a few hundred that are available to be seen out there in the sky. Another interesting object is the Helix Nebula. Again, this is late at night. If we kind of move the sky a little bit higher, if you wait until the early morning hours, Helix Nebula is another really beautiful object, deep sky object, also known on the internet. It's been known as the Eye of God. That's kind of a nickname since 2003. But basically, this nebula was discovered by Harding, astronomer Harding, back time before 1824. So a couple of hundred years ago, we've known it's a beautiful planetary nebula. It means that this is the representation of a star's death, of how it's let go of most of its atmosphere. If we just zoom in, you can see it's just true beauty. It has a central star. That's what we call a white dwarf. They're usually very, very faint. You need a large telescope to even see a hint, or an extended doing some astrophotography will bring that central star out, the little white dwarf, which represents the hot core, little core about the size of the planet Earth. That's all it is. That's the central core of this dead star, and it's let go most of its atmosphere, and it forms this bubble-like configuration. We're looking at it, looks like a donut ring, but it's actually more like like a true bubble, and we're seeing through that gas, and all of this used to be part of this star, but it's let itself go, and the gas is being excited by electrons, all the radiation coming out from that explosion that happened. It's not a supernova explosion, but it's a smaller, kind of more gentle death of a star that's the same mass or similar mass to our own sun. Our own sun will go through something like what we're seeing here billions of years from now. But the Helix Nebula, 790 light years away, and it's at the foot or the leg of Aquarius, the water bearer zodiacal constellation. And again, this is something that'll be tonight, Monday night into Tuesday morning. The moon will be near M30 and the Helix. I think that's pretty cool. Now, if we follow the moon, let me just go back a few minutes here still. So late night, so near midnight, this is where the moon is Monday night. But if we go to Tuesday, late night Tuesday, look, the moon is getting closer to Saturn, and in fact produces this beautiful lineup with Neptune and Saturn, two planets. Now, very different because Saturn is something that's easily visible with the naked eye. It looks like a yellow star, a bright yellow star. Again, where are we looking? We are looking towards the eastern sky, very late night, near midnight local time for you. So tonight, if it's around midnight, you'll see this beautiful lineup. You can go try seeing this a little bit earlier, but it gets easier the later that you go out because the stars and the planet and the moon will all shift higher. You see how they're traveling higher each hour? I'm changing it by hour. So this is already like near 2 o'clock in the morning. So the later that you wait into the overnight period, the higher this trio will be in the sky, and easier for you to view, especially if you have trees or buildings in the way. It just makes it a lot easier. But look at that beautiful lineup. So you get Neptune, Saturn, and the moon. Now remember, Neptune is the farthest, most distant large planet, major planet, and it sits 4.3 billion kilometers away, which means that light takes 244 minutes to reach your eye from Neptune. And you need a small telescope or a very strong pair of binoculars in dark skies away from light pollution to see Neptune. While Saturn is very bright and it's 1.3 billion kilometers away, and it takes light only 74 minutes to reach your eye. So a little bit more, than about almost an hour and 15 minutes for the light to reach your eye from Saturn. Still, it's amazing. Remember, light travels at 300,000 kilometers per second. It still takes, about an hour and 15 minutes for that light to get to you from Saturn. So we're seeing what Saturn looked like just over an hour behind in time, while Neptune, it takes 244 minutes for the light to reach your eye. I mean, that's crazy stuff. What are we talking about here? 244 divided by 60, that's just over 4 hours. Just over 4 hours for the light from Neptune to reach your eye when you're looking at it through binoculars or a small telescope. So a great three very different kind of worlds all lined up. Moon, Saturn, Neptune. Again, this is happening when? This is Tuesday late night into Wednesday early morning. Then if we move to see the moon later in the week, by Wednesday, look at that. By Wednesday, the moon pops over to the other side of Saturn and is sandwiched between Neptune and Saturn. Now the moon is, again, still waning gibbous moon. And then by Thursday, the moon is on the other side of Neptune and still a beautiful line Look at that, a beautiful alignment between Saturn, Neptune, and the moon. So if you, this would actually, in my opinion, on Thursday, would be great in terms of tracking down Neptune. So if you've never seen Neptune before, the reason I say Thursday's the best is because you've got it sandwiched almost exactly between two objects that are easy to see with the naked eye, the moon and Saturn. And so halfway between, you can use your binoculars, scan the sky halfway between Saturn and the moon, and you should see Neptune in your field of view. You'll know you found Neptune because it's this greenish blue dot, a little disk. In fact, if you have a small telescope, this would be even easier to spot. So a great observing challenge. So this is late Thursday, July 25th, is an opportunity, a challenge, an observing challenge to track down Neptune. If you've never seen it before, this is a good opportunity to use the moon and Saturn as a guidepost. So I think I love this idea. I would love to see you guys try it. I want to hear from you guys if you have. Hello from Joaquim on YouTube watching. Oh, and Parth says he's in West Bengal, one of the important states in India. That's wonderful. Parth, thank you so much for explaining and sharing that with our fellow stargazers. And so nice to see everyone out there. CMK on YouTube watching from beautiful Nova Scotia. Thank you for the video, he says. My pleasure. Brivin from Zambia. Just wonderful to see everyone there, and keep sharing where you're watching. I just love to see that. So that's where the moon is. So this is Thursday, and if we keep moving by Friday, look at that. The moon is in Pisces, the zodiacal fishy constellation. Let's go later at into the early morning. The moon really will become so by Friday, Saturday. I would say you got to be a late night owl or an early bird. Somebody who wakes up really early to see the moon. And it will be about near a quarter moon by Sunday. You can see here. Let's see if we can get to Sunday. There we go. And by Sunday, it's in Aries, the Ram, and you can find the moon hanging around near a bright yellowish white star called Hamel. Now, Hamel is the lead star in a very faint zodiacal constellation, Aries. Aries isn't a very evident, it's hard to kind of connect the dots in Aries, but Hamel is a bright star. It is located 65 light years away, and it is something that is just really easy to find. It'll become this view of Aries will go into the evening skies by fall, by autumn, or springtime for those of you in the southern hemisphere. But the moon this Saturday morning, late Saturday night, will be a quarter moon, and that's where you'll see next to Hamel. So check that out on the weekend as well. And by late Sunday night, early Monday morning, it's the moon will be hanging out with Taurus the bull. Now, if we just make the Taurus earlier in the morning, this is really interesting. So if you're an early bird, this is what you would see towards the east. I wanted to finish up this week's episode. For those of you that do get up in the early morning before sunrise, say around 4:30, this is what you would see higher up in the sky. You'll see on Monday, next week, Monday. So before I do my live stream, this will have already happened. That's why I'm including this, is a beautiful crescent moon pairing up with Uranus, which is a green planet, a gas giant, ice giant that you need binoculars to see this pair. Then you also have Pleiades, beautiful star cluster, also very close to the moon. Again, easy to see with binoculars, and for small telescopes, no problem of being able to see the moon with Pleiades right there. Then underneath it, you'll have Mars, Jupiter, Aldebaran, Betelgeuse, Bellatrix. There's a whole slew of bright stars, even Capella. So these are traditionally stars that are part of our winter or winter skies in the northern hemisphere, and the summer skies for those of you in the southern hemisphere. And so right now it's not optimum when we're talking about the that of when they're the seasons that I'm talking about just now referring to. It's for evening observing, very civilized stargazing after supper time. But now it's not after supper time you see these stars. It's very early in the morning before sunrise, looking towards the east. So that's not the optimum time for most people to do stargazing, but it's there. They are visible. A lot of people are surprised about this, but they are there and they're hanging out in the low eastern sky. The moon will be joining it late Sunday night into early Monday morning, um, July 29th. So check that out. It's a really gorgeous grouping, and the moon will be, if I switch it to other dates, by Tuesday next week. Look where the moon is. You can see right there, marking it Tuesday, Wednesday next week, Thursday. So it'll just be slashing right through, just gliding right through those beautiful bright objects, stellar objects, all next week. Whew. So that's a lot of stuff we went through this week's show. I'll be posting some sky charts on my Facebook channel, YouTube as well. If you found any great added value to this, and you've marked your calendar and you do get to see stuff, please do all the good stuff on social by subscribing to my channel. It means a lot. It allows me to bring these videos for free into your homes, and I can tag along and be your guide. I love being your guide to the night sky. Of course, if you're interested in finding out more about the night sky, check out my books. First off, Backyard Guide to the Night Sky. It's a bestseller on Amazon. It's out by National Geographic, and it's chock full of all my tips for observing the night sky. If you want something a little more meaningful, Stargazer's Atlas. It's a huge hardcover coffee table book, but it has every single constellation, all 88 in there. So no matter where you are in the world, it's a great companion to kind of get you up to speed on what the constellations have there. And also I do specific little guides on deep sky objects as well, what to go out for, whether you're a telescope watcher or a person who watches just with your eyes from the city. It's a great book. I have both books available, signed, dedicated copies, shipping internationally on my website, thenightskyguy.com. And of course, if you're interested in staying up to date on all little things that that catches my attention, every month I put out a stargazing newsletter. The next one's coming out, I promise. They'll have some great little observing tidbits and news about astronomy. So you can sign up again on my website, thenightskyguy.com. Just follow the links and sign up for free, and it'll come into your inbox. How cool is that? So, a lot of stuff happening. Again, thanks so much. I'm looking at all the comments. Love to see you guys there. I'll be looking at the comments after the show. Thank you so much. Stay safe and healthy. And until the next video, clear skies. Bye bye.